Lilongwe, Malawi, where Harambee Stars didn't have the best of matches against Burundi Swallows, throwing a 1-0 lead to settle for a 1-all draw against the visitors, putting their qualification, or rather the dream, for America 2026 in jeopardy. Take a look at that action. Yeah, Randy, that's the action you can see there. But now, 3 matches played, a win against Seychelles, a defeat away to Gabon, and now, basically, this was our home match. That's what people are forgetting. A 1-1 draw against Burundi Swallows, one of the lowly ranked teams. Where does this leave Harambee Stars?
This is very dangerous because we are third in that particular group on just 4 points. Looking at Ivory Coast, I don't know what to expect against Ivory Coast, because that is a match that we need a win, right?
Yeah, sure.
For us to be actually to have better prospects of going somewhere. But looking at that particular match, I can say Harambee Stars, okay, it's not a bad team. It's been doing well. Look at their last 5 international matches. They've not been doing that badly, having I think 3 wins out of 5. So it's a team that if they put their mind to it, I think they can even settle for a draw. I don't know, but if they put their mind to it, I think they can settle for a draw against Ivory Coast. But it's a team that needs a lot of work, but still far off from let's say qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. It's far from qualifying. Far from it.
I'll bring you probably a picture and look at the tactical formation and playing philosophy. Does Engine Firat has any? Because he's been with us, ikifika October itakuwa miaka mitatu. That's a long time. Do you think he has his playing philosophy by now?
I wanted to be fair and at the same time tell the truth. We gamble so much with the national team. It's a big gamble because if you look at that team, the collapse that were made, I understand it's okay to widen your net so that you collect players maybe they're playing in other leagues. They have not been coming to Kenya to represent Kenya and all that. It is okay. But now, where are we as a country? If you want to perform, or if Harambee Stars has to perform, the local league has to perform. Because that's where we are going to get the backbone of the national team. Remember the days when we had the FC Leopards and Gor Mahia players, almost 30% of them in the national team. We could see we had something. But we are counting so many years with no success with the national team. And I think it's high time we ask ourselves, is Harambee Stars a team that requires a CS? Does it require an operation? We just need to operate it. And at the same time, we also talk about bringing in the foreign coaches. Firat wants to win because that's the job that he was brought in to do. He is not winning, or sometimes Harambee Stars wins or not. But where are we going as a country? Where are we going as the national team? Is it high time now we need to integrate? Because to me, I was talking with a friend of mine and telling him that I expected that the team that played the Sakafa, the likes of Byron Ochieng, almost 4 or 5 could have been brought into the national team, not to play, but to feel how do you prepare for when you are going for for a major tournament? Because now you need to transition these players. Has it reached a point whereby now, remember we had a provisional squad last time when Firat was giving the squad to Malawi. There were so many issues. Olunga is out, giving us issues that is going to join the team in Malawi. what is the meaning of a provisional squad? Get the names of those people who are going to play and then reduce the number.
Absolutely.
So I think, yes, I think there's a problem within the team. If you look at the issues of indiscipline, look at what happened with Amos Nondi and Joanna Molo. So if all those things are coming out, is it a problem with the team? Is it a problem with the management? Is it a problem with the FKF? Or where is the problem?
Shiter, in 30 seconds, how does Pirates proceed from this kind of situation?
Are you sure 30 seconds? But what I would say, let us not complain so much, because we are just from a ban, and we are picking up our pieces. And since then, I've not gotten that bad with the national team, because remember, the international friendly, we have performed well. As he says, James, our Premier League, I will not even rank it, and that is where we need to draw our players.
But look, Shiter, just hold on. It is this same team whom did well in some friendlies against Qatar away, or against Russia.
But we are not doing we are not doing badly. What Firat needs to look at is our defensive mechanism, because I've monitored closely the last 2 matches in this qualifier. We started by scoring against Gabon. It's a match you could have easily won, but again we let in very loose goals. We started by scoring against Burundi. Look at that goal, a very loose goal. So we really need to tighten our back to ensure that we defend our goal. And going into the Ivory Coast match, who knows? It's football. I keep on telling you, it's very possible to beat Ivory Coast. But again, look at the players we are missing. The players you are talking about in those friendlies, we miss Ayub Timbe, Eric Johanna, Marcelo. These are players, very solid players that we have really missed. But again, as you put it, Tyrone Karaoke is a player that could have easily been absorbed into the national team. Aldrin Kibet could have easily been absorbed in the national team. Look at how Southgate is handling the likes of Tom Palmer.
What you are saying, you're having issues with the selection.
But again, let's give the coach and the players the encouragement. We are facing Ivory Coast. It's a match that we can win.
Selection, that the coach is the person who is selecting the team. I hope there's no one who is selecting for him the team actually, or there's no one, the other coaches from the other team. I hope he's not, there's the akuna mwenye anasema ati chukua huyu player wangu, because at the end of it, as the coach, he's been here for almost a year, a year or something. He knows all these players, how they play. He knows his first 11, how he's supposed to play for the whole year. So for me, telling me that it's because of selection, and then seeing that 5 late call-ups to the national team, seeing that you're giving me the final traveling squad, knowing that other players don't have papers that are supposed to play, but bado unaweka kwa final traveling squad, you're going with them to Malawi.
You've had it before.
That is not something that you need to gamble in the World Cup qualifiers. It's a game that you know, if I win this game, it's going to give me a plus in the coming matches.
Is Firat being maybe influenced from some quarters
something else that I know, something else that I want even to point out. There was a disconnection from the midfield to the what? To attack. You're telling me that the selection was good. Defense was a little bit playing. Rooney was playing very well. But again, the disconnection from midfield to the attack, you've seen that. And then you're trying to call people late calls because you want to fix that. And you saw it. Umekuwa camp for 2 weeks. What are you telling me?
But we did not lose the match.
No.
What is the cry for? We did not lose it.
But we didn't deserve the draw.
That was a win.
We did not deserve the draw. Small teams like Nottingham Forest have beaten Arsenal.
Stop telling me about Nottingham Forest.
Yes, we have experts who will be going deep into this, but in 10 seconds, can Engine Firat's men stop the Ivorians? The African champions.
That's me sincere.
Waswahili husema mpira udunda, lakini on this one I'm going to say that I'm patriotic and I'm a Kenyan. We wish them all the best, but it is very hard. There's one thing that Zita has talked about. I want to ask you, in that starting lineup, Can you identify players who are not attached to clubs?
Yes.
Where are they training? Why are they picked to start?
And then you're telling me
absolutely, and now there's so much shit regarding Harambee Stars, and it's on that basis we're asking you, do you think Engin Firat's men will qualify for the 2026 World Cup final in the Americas? Talk to us, 22422, hashtag Sporty Monday at Citizen TV Kenya at Isaac Swiller. We will be sampling your feedback during and at the tail end of this program. So keep them coming. Of course, the discussion big on Harambee Stars World Cup dream. Will it come to fruition or will it go up in smoke? And now, to help us dissect this much further, I have with me here two experts, men who understand the game. To my immediate right is Anthony Modo Kimani, a former international and, of course, right now serving as Ulinzi Stars FC head coach. And to the far right is Innocent Mutiso, former winger, Gor Mahia and Mathare United. Gentlemen, hamjambo.
Jambo.
Let's begin first of all, Modo. Maybe I'll ask you, how did you get this name Modo before we go into the real discussion?
Well, it's a nickname that I was given a long time ago by Coach Saleh while I was playing for the under-17. Back then, he used to be the Mathare United senior team head coach, and there was a player that was called Alex Kimani that I believe went to the United States. So that particular Kimani was known as Modo, and so since Saleh was both his coach and my coach at the junior level, he sort of decided to give me that particular name, and it has stuck with me ever since.
Okay. You've had the discussion there. Those are journalists, but you guys, you played the game. Now, if you look at Engin Firat's formation against Burundi, you are a coach. What could you have done differently?
Well, I think we did not fully utilize the talent that we had in that particular squad. In as much as we were playing, outside the country, that was supposed to be our home match. And that being our home match, it's very important that we, get maximum points in that particular match. We lacked creativity. We lacked creativity in that particular match. And for you to score goals, you need creativity. And so if you have a player like Austin Odhiambo that has been doing very, very well for Gor Mahia, has created so many, goal-scoring opportunities for his team, and has scored many goals as well.
Most in the KPL this season.
Exactly. All right. So I don't understand why you'd put that particular player on the bench, knowing very well that he's a player that can easily unlock any defense. So I would say we struggle in terms of creativity. We also struggle, and this is something that we've struggled with for the last couple of matches, that we've ended up conceding goals towards the latter stages of those particular matches. Game management. Once you're in the lead as a team, you ought to know what to do. You ought to know how to behave on and off the ball, and I think that has been our main undoing. Look at how we played against Russia. We were leading 2-1 with about 2 minutes left on the clock, considered a really, really, late goal. Against Gabon, we were getting a point away. That would have been very, very crucial for us. But again, towards the latter stages of the match, I think the 88th minute, again, we ended up conceding a goal. And the same happened against Burundi as well. With 2 or 3 minutes left on the clock, again, we ended up...
Iran also?
Exactly. So I think match management has been our main undoing.
Innocent, you are a forward, basically an attacker, and Modo has talked of creativity and taking our chances. How do you address that? We have Olunga who, when he dons the national colors, we don't see really his real sparkle. Compare Olunga and how he performs at club level. What should he address facing the Ivorians, more so in attack?
I would like to echo the sentiments of my colleague here, Modo, or my former teammate, my former captain at Mathare United. And I'd like to say that when you have talented players like Austin Odhiambo, you don't just leave them on the bench. We've had very good games versus Qatar, versus Iran, versus Russia, and we've been scoring. We've not been lacking in front of goal. And Olunga, when you look at him playing for Al Duahil, he has service like after every 10 minutes or 15 minutes. You'll find that he's had around 5-6 shots towards goal or attempts. But at the national team, he looks isolated. Kenya was playing in a 4-2-3-1 formation, and he looked isolated up front. He needs help up front. When we were playing in the Four Nations Cup, Olunga was not that isolated, and that is why he was scoring goals, and he was even playing very well, bringing other players into the game, especially our wingers. When Masika was actually playing just behind him, and it's just lack of creativity at the top level, and that is what, and actually lack of service. So that is what Olunga lacks at the national team. And also the selection. I'd like to repeat what also Zita Jimoi was saying. We've had some players like Tobias from third division in Germany. There's Zach Avina who's playing in Bristol City in England. Who was scouting them? Where were they in the Four Nations? If you're bringing new players into the team, bring them during friendly matches, not to bring them when even you're not sure if they will be able to play for the national team. And then you're telling us that because of those two players who are missing, that is why we don't win the match. Absolutely.
And there are quite a number of good players out there. First of all, let's dwell on his formation, 4-2-3-1, with Olunga being the focal point in attack. Do you think Firat needs to stick to that when we face the Ivorians, or does he change it? Because you're facing African champions, and you're facing a side that is rich in experience. A team that is very physically imposing, physically and very strong. Does he stick with that, or he needs to tinker with that formation?
I think looking at the players that are in camp at the moment, I would change it. Because right now, the only natural winger, offensive winger that we've got is Clifton Mieso. If you looked at the match that we played against Burundi, he kept on changing or playing players out of their positions. Muguna, at some point, ended up playing as the right winger. So really, we don't have wingers in camp, and that's probably partly to what happened with Johanna being dropped from the team. But I think as a national team...
fundamental question, because you are looking for somebody who can play as a number 10.
Exactly.
You are looking at somebody who can play as a winger. You are looking at somebody who can fire up from 20 yards out. Johanna gives you all these dynamics.
He certainly does. He certainly does. And one thing that also aroused my curiosity is Mieso was a late call-up to the national team. How come Mieso, as a late call-up, went straight to the team? As a coach, 11, yeah. Exactly, to the first team. As a coach, I think you need to have your first team, and then you need to have, your backup just in case something happens. An injury can happen to one of your first team players. So I would have thought that in camp we would have had a player that would have been, a straight fix, and probably Mieso would have come and be the player on the bench. Looking around at the local scene, looking at some of the players that have been doing very, very well in those particular positions. At City Stars, you've got Kapen. Kapen has been doing very, very well. If you look at Kapen's stats in terms of goals and in terms of assists, he's a player that probably should have been in the national team. Look at Boniface Moshiri as well. He's got 8 goals at the moment and a lot of assists as well. And Moshiri has missed a couple of, matches this particular season, but he still has managed to score 8 goals. So how are those players not in the national team? Because right now we have a crisis. If you look at that particular squad, we don't have natural wingers or players that can comfortably operate on the flanks. And that's why I was saying I wouldn't go with the same formation if I was in his shoes.
So probably what formation would you use? And two, having been a defender, what would you need to see in that back line?
Stability, and that mostly comes with playing players in their rightful positions. If you watched our team against Burundi, we had Anyembe playing as a centre-back. We all know that he's a natural right-back and very, very good in that particular position. We had Collins Chichenje on the bench, a natural centre-back that has been doing, well in Sweden. So I would have preferred to play every player in their rightful position. So Chichenje should have come in as a centre-back. Anyembe should have played in his rightful position just to bring that stability.
So Modo, give me your preferred back four against Ivory Coast, and probably the formation you're going to use if you are in Firat's shoe.
I'd use a 4-4-2 formation, diamond formation. We have a lot of talented midfielders in that particular team that I said are not fully utilized. We've got 2 strikers that are doing very, very well for their respective clubs, but seem to struggle a little bit when they come to the national team. We've got Benson Omala that has been raking in goals season in, season out for Gor Mahia. We've got Olunga that has been doing very well, partly because of the service that he gets, as my colleague alluded to earlier on. He has Coutinho playing behind him. Coutinho is going to create create chances for him. But when it comes to Kenya, then we don't have those creative sparks that can create chances for him. We've got Austin that should be in that particular midfield. We can play with a front two, Omala and Olunga, and then we play with a diamond, you know, of two players, and of course 3 creative players. I talked about Austin. We've got Muguna there. You know, we've got which other player do we have that is a creative midfielder in that? We've got Duke there that came on and scored, you know, against Burundi. So I'd fully utilize the attacking talent that we've got in that particular squad while ensuring that we remain really, really stable at the back.
Innocent as an attacker, and you're quite a joy to watch, I must say.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if now we are facing the Ivorians and they'll come hard on us, they are their away team. He's talked of sticking to a back 4 and using a 4-4-2 formation. Now we are having Olunga and Omala as the lead strikers, or 2 men up front. Omala has not really had a good environment, so to speak, at Harambee Stars. It seemed the coach has had doubts on Omala's ability, and he's on record on this. He's dropped him a couple of times. How now do you get the best out of this player in terms of confidence? And we just have hours because they're facing each other tomorrow. What kind of motivation talk do you give to your players and most of the attackers going to face the Ivorians, and most of a player like Omala, who is doing very well at club level, but at the national team, probably not much from him?
Well, the coach just needs to give him confidence. He needs to show the player that he's still in the national team. He's playing so well here in Kenya. He went abroad, and I hear there was a story there that he was put on defense, and he was saying that he's not a defender, he's an attacker. And he was brought back to Kenya. And when he came back to Kenya, he's still scoring left, right, and center. So he's one of our most potent attackers in the national team. Just put him there. When you start trusting a player in the first 11, then that player will not disappoint you, because you see the coach has faith in me. Can I repay the faith by scoring goals or creating chances, or just trying to destabilize the defense? As when I was a young boy coming into Madari United, and I was being brought in the last 5 minutes of the matches, and I started building that momentum. Either I come in with an assist, or I come in with a winner, a goal, which is a winner. And after that, I was started. Coach Kimanzi, my former coach, started giving me more chances in the first team, and that is how my confidence grew. And that is why anytime we were going anywhere, be it away from Nairobi, in Nairobi, the opponents will always plan for. Or you also have a plan for marking Mutiso, because I was the most attacking threat in that team. And one thing I was taught by Gabriel Kingi, who I think is one of the best coaches here in Kenya, best youth coaches here in Kenya, because he's achieved a lot, and he's done his badges up to the highest level. And what he told us that when you're one-on-one with a defender, with a wing-back or a centre-back, if you're 1v1 with him, try to take him on. Do not try to lose the ball anyhowly. Try to give the easiest pass just so that the ball just gets away from you. You need to be bold enough. That is what we don't have in the national team. I think some attackers like Austin Diambo and Ayub Timbe and Masika, and also Duke Abuya, those are players that can change a game in an instant. You can see when Austin Odhiambo came in, you can see the flashes of brilliance that he came in. The pass that he gave Duke Abuya, those are the services that we need for our striker. We need bold players like that. When you're 1v1 with a defender, take him on. Bring in a good cross, not just any other cross. Look for your man. We have Olunga. He'll come either at the near post or just behind, just in front of the defense, between the defense and the goalkeeper. So players need to be bold when they're taking on their opponents, and that is what we need to be when we face Ivory Coast tomorrow. Absolutely,
Modo. Real quick because of time. We are third in the group.
Yes.
Ivory Coast actually have won all their matches, and if you look at that group, what must we do to reignite our faint chances of qualifying? We have the Ivorians, we have Kenya, we have Burundi, we have Seychelles, we have Gabon. What must we do differently? Because as things stand, it's fizzling out, dropping points at home.
Well, I think first of all is to ensure that we win all our home matches, because if you want to qualify for any major tournament, you have to ensure that you get maximum points when you're playing at home. And
our
at
home
least
away from home.
Exactly. Our home away from home. We have to ensure that we get points against Ivory Coast. Yes, they have not conceded a goal up to this point. They are leading with 9 points. But anything is possible in football if you prepare well. And as Butiso said earlier on, if you give your players enough confidence, they will go in there and deliver. So I'm pretty sure, in as much as we'll be facing a very, very big team, if we face that particular match with the right mindset, with the belief that we can get a good result, I feel that it's more than possible to get maximum points against Ivory Coast.
Great. And Butiso, let's not forget our junior starlets. On the brink of a World Cup qualification, the first in the history of this country. What do you expect from them on Sunday at Ulinzi Complex? How should they line up? Or they retain the same formation? The
same formation. And what I am impressed about Coach Mildred Cheche, she has the luxury of changing the front line. I mean, that team that beat Ethiopia, he made 2 changes with the attackers. So it means that on the bench, she has an array of talent. And the performance, the ladies, they're performing very well to the highest level. And right now, you can tell the joys that these players have. You can see the way they celebrate those goals. That is what we need with their senior counterparts. That is the senior national team, Harambee Stars, their men counterpart. So at the weekend, I expect Mildred Cheche to keep a calm head, to not be too excited. If I can echo the sentiments of Elizabeth, their captain, she said that everyone is talking about qualifying for World Cup, but have we secured that place already? And this weekend, when you look at Burundi, their previous match, they beat Djibouti 24-0 in aggregate. So this is not a team that is supposed to be underestimated. Anything can happen in a game of football. That game was not even played in Burundi. That game was played in Ethiopia. So they were actually way much away from home. So at Kenya, maybe they can feel they can be confident, and maybe they can make do a disappointment against Kenya. But then again, our ladies also need to keep calm. They need to know that we only need a draw, or not conceding more than 3 goals. Then we are going to Dominican Republic in November. So
actually, you know, in October. It's starting in October.
Oh, it's in October.
Beginning in October 6th, thereabouts, to early November.
Okay.
So we should turn up in record numbers.
We should turn up. I will be there in that match. We should turn up. I will be there charging our starlets on. And Mildred Cheche, I think she's about to achieve one of the greatest things in football history here in Kenya. And what a way to do it, qualifying for the World Cup.
Absolutely.
Under 17.
If we qualify, of course, CS Ababu na Mwamba, like you've been doing with the athletes and the pugilists and everybody Shuja, we want to see a red carpet honor for the junior starlet, and of course, some good checks to go home with that. And of course, on Sunday, all roads leads to Lindsay Complex in Nairobi. It's along Langata Road. So let's be there and cheer the girls as they punch a World Cup ticket. Dominican Republic, we are coming. Modo, before we wind it up now, Shiter, I think one of the panelists raised a very key point. Sekafa, the junior Sekafa championship that was held in Kisumu. We saw very good players, the Tyrone Karaoke's, name them. We saw quite good talent. And this raised a point that now you need to transition these players, not really throw them into the furnace, but bring them to the senior side or under 23. Let's train with the big boys. And we are seeing this happening in England a lot. Remember the 2006 World Cup held in Germany?
Correct.
Theo Walcott, as a 17-year-old.
16-year-old.
Actually 16, made that squad. And the list is on and on. Right now the Euros, which we'll be going into shortly, is taking place in Germany. And we are seeing Maino, just 18, 19 at Manchester, is actually in that 3 Lion squad, and most likely gonna start some of these games. We don't see this in Kenya. We realize talent very, very late.
Yes, I think we had overlooked the importance of having vibrant youth structures in Kenyan football. But I think that's something that we are starting to get right, looking at the partnership that has been going on between the Federation and the Sports Ministry about ensuring that we field teams in every age or youth category in all the major competitions. I think that's the right direction. And as it clearly said earlier on, Tyrone Kariuki is one of the players that emerged as a player that has got big potential to play for our country in future. Look at Aldrin Kibet. So I concur with him. I think it's high time that we start giving these particular players, call-ups to the senior national team, because they've shown that they've got what it takes to go to the very top of Kenyan football. So it's high time that we start introducing them slowly to the national team, as Mutiso said earlier on when he was playing for Madara United. Those 5 minutes, those 10 minutes, they helped a lot in building him to the player that he later on came to be. And the same happened with Dennis Oliech. When he was being called to the national team, I believe with Ghost Mule back then, he was coming on for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He was in high school. Exactly, he was still in high school. And we all saw what he did for our country much later on. So I think it's a direction that we need to embrace, ensuring that, of course, we field our youth teams in all the tournaments that are available, ensuring that we also keep them in camp, even when we don't have those particular tournaments. So I think we are headed in the right direction. In the next few years, we will probably be able to see or to reap the fruits of what we are sowing right now with our youth teams.
Actually, even with our longest-serving captain, Musa Otieno, also was picked up when he was still a teenager for the Harambee Stars. Absolutely. And he played for so many years, and he was a stalwart in that defense.
We end it here, but Mutiso, before you go, maybe face that camera and address Engine Firat in 5 seconds.
Engine Firat, I believe in you, because ever since you came to Harambee Stars, we saw there's an identity in the team. When you're defending, we're defending in numbers. We have a structure. When you're attacking, we're also attacking in numbers. But then again, we need consistency in the playing unit. Bring back the likes of Eric Yohana. Bring back the likes of Amos Nondi. You are the head coach. You can accommodate these players. The back stops with you. You can talk to these players so that they have more discipline in the team. And man, we need to qualify for the World Cup. I mean, our under-17 junior starlets are the ones who are qualifying before us. We still have time. All is not lost. We are 5 points off the leaders and 2 points off number 2. And we have 7 more matches to play. We need more wins at home and at least away.
Modo, message to Demba.
All the best.
To who?
Odemba. Junior star.
Oh, yes. First of all, we are very delighted with the work that she has been doing. We are on the verge of making history by being the first team to ever play in a World Cup tournament. So I think she has done well. A 3-0 scoreline away was a very decent result. However, they should remain focused. It's not over until it's over. There's another 90 minutes left of football. And as Mutiso said earlier on, Burundi won their previous match by 24 goals to nothing. So it shows that this is a team that can still score goals. So we need to keep our feet on the ground and ensure that we get the job done in Nairobi at the Ulinzi Complex next Sunday.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you
for making time for the program. Of course, that's Innocent Mutiso, former winger. He was dazzling in his heyday. He's speaking to us here on Sporty Monday. And Coach Anthony Modo Kimani, the man at the dugout at Ulinzi Stars, giving us their prognosis. Of course, that kind of expert view, you only get it here on Sporty Monday every week. For now, we take a commercial break, but when we return, the tries, Enterprise, Cabras, so sweet at the top, then we'll be crossing over to Germany. Of course, the Euro build-up. What do they have to say? Jacob Safari is on standby, so stay tuned. This is Sporty Monday.